Well, hello and welcome to this afternoon's webinar or this evening's webinar, depending upon where you happen to be on planet Earth. My name is Jeff Twaddale, and I'm here with BookingCenter, and we have put together a conversation tonight on yield management. And specifically, we want to talk about our partnership with the good folks, a subsidiary company of Booking.com called Booking Suite, and I have on the call with me here, Levi. Levi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure. I'm extremely excited that you put this together. But yeah, glad to be here. Working Booking Suite as part of the division of Booking.com. Yeah, excited for this partnership.
And we've been working on a integration with one of their newer products here over the past. I mean, we probably started the technology about a year ago, and have some customers that are using a product that we're going to discuss today, which is called RateManager. Well, the reason that we've decided to pull this webinar together is because a lot of people don't really quite understand the different approaches to what some people call yield management, other people call revenue management or revenue optimization. So we are going to discuss today the concept of yield management and revenue management, and how the partnership between our two organizations makes, doing from very simple yield management approaches all the way to some really sexy and exciting, we might call big data revenue optimization that Booking.com is making available. And for those people who registered for this, there's going to be a special offer that RateManager, which is the group that Levi is going to talk about, will make available for us this summer. So just to give an opening to the discussion here, yield management is defined as the process of making frequent adjustments to the price of your rooms in response to market factors, usually demand or competition. And those of you who have been Booking Center customers or in the hotel business have probably been doing at least a basic function of yield management. And on the screen right here, you'll see that we've sort of listed a few different ways that Booking Center handles yield management, and you've probably all been doing manual rate changes, which just means you just change your rate or your minimum stay based upon a factor that is coming your way. For example, July 4th if you're in North America, or Christmas time, or Easter or whatnot. The very traditional way of pricing your room to maximize your yield, your pricing basically for a demand period. In Booking Center, we've also for a few years now offered a yield management approach, which we call the yield management module, which is based upon rules. And those rules are tools that you set up manually inside your Booking Center software, and you can therefore make changes to your rooms and your rates based upon occupancy or time trends. And I don't know if there's, we probably have maybe a handful of customers, 50 to 100 customers who are using this type of concept. And here's an example that I'm going to show you right here, where you say, for example, that less between 7 and 5 days out, if my occupancy is 95%, meaning I've only got a 5% vacancy, then go ahead 7 days out and adjust those rates by 140%. So this approach, where you use a rate rule concept like Booking Center provides, is based upon your knowledge as a revenue manager of your market or your hotel product. And then you can tell your rates to do these, movements up or movements down, either by percentages or flat dollar amounts, based upon time intervals or occupancy trends that you're finding in your marketplace. And that's our yield management. But that, it takes effort, and it means that you have to know the market. And of course, the market is more complex than most of us know, and it's getting more complex all the time because there's, all sorts of dynamic events that are happening. More and more people are traveling, and more lead times to the time of a booking being made to the time of the arrival is getting shorter. And therefore, there's some really interesting approaches to yield management, and RateManager, which here's a screenshot from one of our partners here, one of our customers, and this is part of the tools that Levi will talk about. It's being supplied by Booking.com. What they've done is we are tracking what the rate is for this particular hotel. That's what is called the purple thing here called your rates. And Booking.com has freely given this type of a product to BookingCenter to integrate into our tool set. And this is showing the top 5 competitors in the market of this hotel. This is a 3-star Las Vegas hotel, so very, very dynamic pricing, moves up and down. You can see their pricing varies almost by 100%, given different weeks here. So this has been a modern tool that Booking.com and Booking Suite have made available to BookingCenter and BookingCenter customers. They call this Rate Intelligence. This provides you with a lot more information now about not just what you think of your trends in your occupancy based upon factors like 1 week out or 2 week out, but what your competitors are doing a few weeks out. And so there's been a lot more information that's been given. And so what we want to focus on today is understanding what you can do with RateManager, which is the product by Booking.com, and how that can really bring some very modern, some very interesting analysis to your rate changes. Levi, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you really touched base on just the fact that revenue management in general, as technology has advanced, specifically the booking window has just gotten smaller and smaller, and to be able to actually make those decisions and make them accurately and without spending your entire day trying to gather that data, it really has become a time-consuming process. And the main focus of course would be confidence in setting your rates. And so what we've done over here at Booking.com, and specifically in Booking Suite, the software division for partners, is we've created this platform where we utilize a lot of that big data that is always spoken about. With us being such a large platform, we really do collect a lot of data, and it's good for us to actually put it to use and allow your customers and our partners to take advantage of that, and really, with that small booking window, be able to make these decisions and have all the data in front of them to be confident in making sure that they're doing it right.
So one of the things I wanted to show here is with this new connection that we've developed together, we have a two-way interface is what it's called, and what that's doing. And really, when we're talking about RateManager and the platform itself, the connection with the PMS, that's the most vital component in making sure that all of this works. And so what we're doing is we're pulling all that historical data from BookingCenter, running it with our algorithms, with the big data that we have here at Booking.com, and that's anything incorporating events in the area, competitor pricing, as well as the demand data that Booking.com actually has. So how many people are looking in the area, how many are actually booking, what that window of opportunity is, that lead time, as well as how much inventory is left in a given market. What we do with that is when we run those algorithms, we'll actually give you a rate suggestion based off of that, as well as all the data to back up, hey, this is what we believe is going on, this is the demand forecasting itself, the competitive landscape, and with that rate suggestion, we'll actually be able to push it back into BookingCenter and distribute it to all your channels with that connection. So
Levi, could you tell us a little bit about what those algorithms take into account in a given market, like I don't know, like Las Vegas or Seattle or something?
Yeah. So for those of you, I'm based out of Seattle here. So I'm going to be biased and choose Seattle in that example. say, for example, the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl, and this is an event, just a few years ago would have been the first time that we had that kind of compression in the city. And so for individuals, let's say 5 miles outside of Seattle, they want to know, are they going to see that compression at their hotel? When we talk about big data and what we have, when you look historically, there's nothing for you to be able to see about that. When you look in the future and you use that big data, you can actually start forecasting with it with unconstrained demand and be able to understand, okay, we are going to see that demand. We can price accordingly, and more importantly, we have that leverage over our competitors. If they're pricing themselves too low and they're going to sell out immediately, that's their problem. Utilizing the demand and the tools that you have, you understand that you are going to see that you can hold strong at a higher rate and be able to book your rooms, completely. And, in the case of revenue management, actually be able to increase your ADR or RevPAR. I actually have an example slide right here. This is the Euro Cup over there in Europe. So just to give you an example of what, demand looks like, and especially from a historical standpoint, you can see the green line there. That's from 2015, with all the peaks being the weekends. And then you can see the blue line with 2016, where the Rugby Cup finals. It's nearly impossible for anyone to actually be able to forecast this when it's not an event that's happened before. So in the case of being able to utilize big data, utilize all the data that we have over here at Booking.com, it's really making it a benefit for the partner.
And so, and there's obviously big trends like Levi's talking about, Super Bowls and World Cup events, but there's also, micro things that happen that they have in that Booking.com big data set that's pretty intriguing. Obviously, there's where demand is being requesting in certain markets, but there's also things like just simple weather forecasting, wind forecasting. Over time, all those things become, part of the algorithm. And if there's going to be a sunny day on the beach, then they can price rooms a little bit higher. Whereas if there's going to be a lot of fog, maybe it's going to become a little bit more competitive. There's all sorts of, I think, interesting places that these algorithms are playing out that can allow you to just get a little bit more RevPAR out of your room, and therefore, a little bit greater net income. And that's ultimately what BookingCenter stands for our customers, and that's what the RateManager product, promises us. And what's compelling about it is that it's automated. You can watch its success.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you hit it spot on there. I know I'm talking about big events, but the small events, or even just simple things as weather, those are all things that the algorithm does take into effect. And so to be able to have, almost that second voice when you're setting your rates and showing you, with a data-driven algorithm that is recommending a rate, it really does, give you the upper hand, and especially in whatever market you're in, whether it's low season or high season as well. I have another slide I want to show here, Jeff, and it's what a 1% improvement does for a business. And so in the case of RateManager, you can see, we speak with our partners, on a daily, weekly basis, and everyone's always trying to make improvements to their business. What 1% improvement does, you can see at the very bottom there, just a 1% improvement in price is overall upwards of 11% in overall operating income for improvement. And so, if you're to look at your business from the standpoint of, on the books, you can try and fix, look at your fixed costs, your unit costs, your variable costs, but prices truly can make the largest impact on your business and the bottom line.
Well, and I mean, I think obviously a lot of customers know that, but it's just always, intriguing to see it in your reports. And then, one of the reasons that we're doing this webinar is that, there's a free trial available for this. So if you turn on their pricing controls, you can look to see what their recommendations are for your market, especially for key time like, you know, the summer season, versus what your assumptions were about your market. And there might be some, you know, some inspiration to be found from that. You know, I think it's probably worthwhile to go over a little bit of the mechanics for how this type of an interface between a property management system and a outside revenue management system like Booking Suite and RateManager offer. And just to kind of put your head around, how do they know what my hotel has traditionally done? If you decide to sign up for this interface, we literally deliver them 2 years of historical data. You know, what room was booked, when was it booked, when was it occupied, what was the rate booked, what was the rate that was finally, you know, consumed and accepted by the guest. So a lot of historical data goes into their system to get at least a 2-year running knowledge of what your property had been. And then, of course, you know, as you make reservations, modify them, change rates, etc., those updates get sent. So that forms part of the big data play that their algorithms, you know, run through. And then the other part of it, which is you know, I think the most compelling story of why RateManager, you know, with Booking.com's heft makes a compelling, you know, rate pricing tool, is that they've got all that, you know, weather and demand, you know, that they mix with your historical and your current run rates to make these rate change requests. And in the BookingCenter system, their rate changes can take place only, for example, on your distribution rates, or they can work for just your front desk or just your website. I mean, you can really sort of fine tune how you want the rate recommendation engine to affect what rates are stored in BookingCenter. That's an option that every customer has. And so, you know, this is a chance to learn in some ways what is happening outside of you know, your purveyance, the learn what you don't know kind of approach. So we've had, I think, we've had a handful, a couple dozen customers take us up on this RateManager BookingCenter product connection. It's relatively new in the Booking.com interface. You know, it's all been going this year, but as Levi, you know, said, we've been working on interfaces with the Booking Suite group, of which RateManager is one of the products, for over 6 years now. So it's a very tried and true interface. There is this special offer, and you know, I'm taking a few questions here from the chat session that's being moderated for us, and people have asked, how long is this 60-day special offer going to be in existence? And if you've signed up for the webinar, you know, we're gonna recommend it here for the remainder of 2017. It takes what, about a week, Levi, to get the whole thing set up and established, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say onboarding, you know, as soon as you're opted in, about a week is spot on.
And you know, you can quit this anytime. I think that, you know, as sort of a summation, as a wrap up, pricing information is going to get more complex. People have traditionally hired staff to track these trends, and you know, whether or not that's within your budget to do so, you know, there are definitely some interesting tools which, you know, have helped you track the trends, like your competitors' rates, etc. But there's also you know, some tools like what we're discussing here today, which take you out of the responsibility set to have to do all this stuff and hand it over to, you know, systems that are fine-tuned for doing exactly this. I think it's probably worth showing and mentioning that if anybody on this call is currently a customer of Booking.com, then we do have a product that is supported here by the RateManager team, which is called Rate Intelligence. And if you go into your BookingCenter reports area, you'll see it. And this is a really good tool for evaluating you versus your competition. It's been available to BookingCenter customers for just about the last year now. And I'm just showing you a visual of it. So in purple, it's showing what your rates are. And in the orange kind of color, it's showing what your competitors' rates are. This is a free tool that our partnership has provided for any of our Booking.com customers, that you can identify 5 of your key competitors and match what they're doing with their key room types to what you're doing with your key room types, so that these displays, these calendar displays, can help you understand where you are price-wise versus your key competitors. This is free. This is available now to any Booking.com customer. If anybody would like to consider moving forward with the RateManager integration, please just contact either Levi and his group or BookingCenter and our team, and we'd be happy to start this. Both Levi's contact information as well as my own and the BookingCenter's team will be sent out to all the people who registered for this as a link. So, please do contact us if you've got more questions. And I'd recommend giving it a shot. There's very little to lose, and there's, I think, a lot of modern techniques to gain from this. Levi, do you have any last-minute words you'd like to say here?
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity. I really do hope everyone reaches out and just has a conversation. Make sure this isn't something that we just do. This is a kind of a rare opportunity for you to be able to try out a full revenue management platform that is integrated with a PMS like BookingCenter. So have a conversation with me, have a conversation with someone from my team or Jeff's team, and let's get this rolling.
Well, I hope that we've whetted your appetite for doing some innovative revenue management, whether you just get more manually intelligent about it or whether you decide to fully automate it with the kind of big data play we discussed today. But we're here to make your life easier and your business more profitable. So I want to thank Levi and his partnership for joining us on this call today, and we look forward to hearing the feedback from everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jeff.
Good day, everybody.